see, what happened was I was working a corporate engineering job. I used to be an aerospace engineer, and like I said earlier in the recording, I wanted out. Like, I hated corporate life. I was doing the coolest job on the planet, and I still hated it. So I was researching business and real estate, and I had actually decided to go the business route. And a week or two later, this random investment opportunity landed in my inbox, and it was for a pre-construction development in Nicaragua. And I was like, well, if anything can ruffle people's feathers, I'm going to do it. So I was like, oh, I should obviously learn more about this. This doesn't sound sketchy at all. So I actually kind of pursued the Nicaragua thing, and it was phenomenal for a while. It was really fun. I was going to Nicaragua all the time. I love that country. And through the networking of people that I met through there, a lot of them were involved with Turnkeys. And I was like, what's a turnkey? I had no idea. And so they had been working with them for a couple of years, and one of them sat me down one day and he said, hey, I want to let you know, we haven't told people this, but at the time they were working with turnkeys in Memphis and Phoenix. Phoenix now doesn't really have turnkeys, but they were in Phoenix and Memphis. Those were the big markets. And he told me, just to give you a heads up, I know you're from Atlanta. Atlanta's going to be our next market that we're working with turnkeys in. I was like, well, that sounds fun. So I flew out to Atlanta from California, and I toured a turnkey operation. I just fell in love. I was like, oh my God, the angels are singing, because I don't have to do the work. And I realized the returns aren't quite as high as if I do all the work myself, but I don't want to do the work myself. So I bought my first turnkey. And this was back in the, okay, so I'm going to make everybody super jealous, because you cannot get these deals now. My very first turnkey was I wish I had a picture of it, like if I could share my screen. I'll pull it up on my phone sometime and show you guys my phone. It was a 2-story little yellow house, very cute, freshly rehabbed, in a pretty decent area of Atlanta, and it was $55,000. And so I only had to put 10 grand into it for the mortgage, and it was renting for $975. Like, this is how insane Atlanta was, and why Atlanta boomed so hard, because the price to rent ratios were just nuts. Like, $1,000 in rent on a $55,000 property, you've got to be kidding me. So I instantaneously fell in love. And in the midst of doing this, I still had my corporate job. I had no inkling whatsoever that this was going to turn into anything. So I thought, well, while I still have my corporate job, I will keep buying properties, because I still have a W-2 that I can qualify for lending and all that. And so in the midst of doing that, I was so stinking excited about all of this. I was telling anybody who would listen to me. I was damn near stopping people on the street to tell them how excited I was about my new property. And so people were like, wait, what are you buying? Like, what? I don't understand. What are you doing? So I would explain it to them, and pretty soon, like, one of my mom's friends bought a property, my cousin bought a turnkey. Suddenly everyone's buying turnkeys, because I didn't stop talking about them. And eventually Bigger Pockets, I kind of started doing this. I don't even remember what Hipster's first website looked like, but I had started writing. And at the time I was like, wait, and I started meeting so many people who were interested in turnkeys, that everybody was asking me questions about them, and, well, who do you work with? And I was like, well, you know, I don't know good or bad or whatever, but I've had a good experience with these guys. And so it became such a thing, and then Bigger Pockets found me, and I started writing for them. And at the time, I was kind of I was the only turnkey girl. So I was writing about them and whatever. The whole thing picked up steam so fast and hard that I ended up starting Hipster. And my intention with Hipster, Drew, I just saw your comment about Facebook's feed algorithm is crazy. For a linear brain like mine, I don't even understand. So my intention with Hipster Investments, even the name of it, I'm not even a hipster. The intention with it was really to try and stand out a little bit in the real estate investing arena, because if you look around, it's just a bunch of guys in suits. It's stuffy, it's intimidating. If you're a new investor, it's like, well, who do I trust? I don't know. And I always just want to sound different. Like, I always presented myself as like, hey, I've bought stuff, I liked it, I'll tell you what it was. I don't claim to know everything. And that's what it started with. And Hipster Investments, I ran the name by some people, and they were like, you've got to be kidding me. You would not name your company then. I was like, huh, but I would. Because people click on it. Like, it looks so different. People click on it. And so all of my employees know, like, we are so big on being real. Like, I have more people reach out and tell me their situations. I'm like, I don't think a turnkey's for you. Like, I'm very honest. I'm very real. I am easily the worst salesperson in the world. Like, I probably tell more people not to buy what I sell than I do to buy what I sell. But that was my whole intention. And even now, we're trying to look for different areas to grow. We just want to be a different voice in real estate. One of a little more comfort, one of a little more safety. I've kind of ended up being people's emotional support dog because it's scary getting into here. That sounded, I don't know. Getting into real estate, it's a little scary. It's intimidating. You don't know what you don't know. And you don't have to pay me or Hipster anything for our service. We get paid on the seller side. So we just kind of try and be here really as the emotional support dog. Let's see. Anything else I want to say about Hipster? So I guess I could tell you what we do. If you don't know what we do at Hipster, we're mostly a matchmaker. Like, if you reach out and say, hey, I'm interested in Turnkey, I'll tell you the companies that I either have bought through myself or I am somehow so closely related to that I would send my mother there to buy a property. Like, I really look for the good, solid providers. That's not to say there haven't been hiccups along the way. There absolutely have been. You guys probably saw my post one day that turnkey providers at some point hit complete psychosis. It's a thing. It just happens. So it's not perfect, but like, if I were to buy a turnkey today, that's what I like from a certain company. That's what I would tell you. I'd say, well, I like this company for this reason. I don't like this company for that reason. Here's, what I've been seeing with things. Here's the experience I've had. So I do the matchmaking. I'll just tell you who I have experiences with, who I've liked, who I have reason to trust. And then, like I said, I thought I was only a matchmaker until I became the emotional support dog. So if you're buying a turnkey for the first time, you have no idea what the buying process is, I'll stick with you. If you want me to hold your hand, I 100% will. And then even once you buy a turnkey, you can reach out. If it's 5 years later and some challenge comes up with the property, I want you to reach out and say, hey, I'm having this challenge. Can you help? So that's really the two main roles of Hipster, is connecting you with people that we trust and then helping you along the way. And like I said, we don't charge you anything. We get paid on the seller side. So it's kind of a cool deal, and it's really fun for us. We get to meet people, talk to people. This is how I've gotten to learn so much I have about turnkeys, even outside of my own, is by helping other people. So I hope that explains a little bit about Hipster.